Villages
It
behind
was.
the Toyota dealership, yes.
Why was that your
George
idea?
Clooney opted out of our living accommodations. Didn't he now? He's so important. But the rest of us, oh, also John didn't join us. But you know, I understand that.
It was right there by the
Yeah,
Chili's.
he lived where we had rushes, so that was a bad thing too.
I have a question for Abigail. Abigail, Jean is somebody who is probably getting the worst of it. Her parents their marriage is ending. Her grandfather has died. She has this creepy guy at the end making inappropriate advances. I'm sorry. We have this creepy character played by this guy at the end making inappropriate advances on her. I'm curious about reading that part and about your interest in playing Jean and what's going through her life at this, and she's going through adolescence. Everything on top of everything.
Right. I read it and I kind of immediately felt really attached to her for some reason. And I think it's because, I'm 17, so I wasn't 14 that long ago. And so I kind of know that age is like a really weird age because you're not really like a kid, but you're not really accepted as being a teenager yet. So it's kind of complicated. And she does have a lot going on because she's trying to be this, act like she doesn't care about anything and kind of just like, I don't want to be here. And she's really tough, but she's not really at all. And she's kind of just that's how I read it. And I think towards the end is when she's kind of realizing that, oh my God, I don't want to become like any of these people at all. And so it's kind of, there's a little bit of hope for her that she could maybe be slightly normal.
As opposed to everybody else.
Yeah.
Juliette, there's a line your character has toward the end of the movie as well. I'm not proud of things you'll never know about. Are those things that you want to know about as an actor, about what those things are that you're not proud about, or is it important to know?
I don't, let's see, that would be more of an intellectual approach. I guess some people write diaries or backstories. I liken it to channeling. No, I'm just kidding, but kind of not kidding, but but no, I feel like this, when I first read this script, I immediately understood, my heart just swelled, and I completely understood everything about Karen. And so what one is not proud of is all relative. What she's not proud of could be nothing to somebody else. And then, so people's pain is so individual. But I feel like as an actor, to be in touch with all those emotions of shame, anger, your lust, your joy, those are sort of like your watercolors. And I don't know, I have to validate Tracy and John while we're here because, first of all, John gave us this beautiful environment to pour out what we needed to create these roles. And he was very consistent as a temperament, like really lovely and easy to work with and perform with. He gave us a rehearsal period, which is really a luxury on film these days. And then Tracy lets his writing, I just was so floored because you've seen the state of cinema today. It's so this is something that comes maybe once in a while, but his characters are written so strong. They just leap off the page. I don't know what your question was, but
You've answered it.
I understood Karen. Oh, and her illusion and the denial and all those things. I mean, I'm always struggling between being a realist or an idealist, or somebody said you could be both, but it depends. But anyway.
Dermot, no offense to the creepy guy character you play,
None taken.
Your creepy guy has to take a phone call in the middle of the dinner scene.
Yeah.
But this is a scene that goes on for 4 days over filming, correct?
Yeah.
I just want to hear a little bit about what it was like to be in that scene and what it was like to do that scene for 4 days.
They're laughing at me. I don't think that's cool, you guys. Come on, seriously, I have to answer a question. Those 4 days on this set were the most memorable I've had in 28 years of film acting. No offense, Julia.
Dermot.
Come to think of it, I hadn't put that together before. One of some of the most, however you want to correct that. But you can see why. This is a famous play already, famous scene from the play. And this character that I was truly gifted with, John, thank you so much. So much to be here with all of you today. I'm almost choking up with the privilege and the honor that I feel. So to tell you about that scene would be to tell you how you're supposed to make movies. I mean, that's how it's supposed to be done. You're supposed to do it straight through. You're supposed to do it with everybody there. You're supposed to do it in the real place, in the real state, in the real town. So all of that was provided for us with these words that obviously will stand for centuries. And now that we've filmed it, can you imagine? People long after we're dead will be enjoying Tracy's words. So I felt all of that going into this, and then just as we step into the house, of course, you leave it on that porch, and you come in. My character, of course, I'm just entering happy-go-lucky here. I'm supporting my, fourth wife, but, I'm really dedicated to her.
But it was two.
Well, I know, but it was annulled or something, I don't know. But so I had that delicious seat at that table where I'm the one who nobody knows and who knows no one. So I think you have glimpses in that scene of it being revealed to Steve what he actually walked into and how he's going to deal with it. And obviously the way this story turns, he doesn't deal with it very well and makes inadvisable choices. Or however you read that, he wasn't able to suppress his urges. And those are issues that whole films can be devoted to, whole books, whole classes in college. So I was thrilled to have one of the ugly people in this play. I was thrilled to play one of several, and felt in good company in terms of that.
Before we turn over to questions for the audience, I want to ask Juliette, Julianne, and Julia. It's hard to do that 3 in a row. This is a story about a family coming together, but it's really a story about a family breaking apart and going away. I'm curious, as you see each of your characters, where are you going at the end of the story? Where are you off to? What's in your future? Julia, I'm looking at you because I think you have an answer.
You're looking at me?
Yes.
I always look like I have an answer.
Better than the other way around.
I'm going to Disneyland. I'm getting in that truck or maybe Disney World. I don't want to say where I'm going because I think that more than any person in the piece, Barbara, in the end, I think everyone that I've spoken to says, oh, I know exactly what she's thinking and exactly where she's going and what she's going to do, and I haven't heard the same answer twice. Fantastic. I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
Fantastic. What about Ivy?
I don't know where Ivy's going. I mean, I don't think Ivy knows where she's going when she's driving away. She's just leaving, and maybe tomorrow she'll figure out where she's going.
Karen's going to Florida, right? Belize?
Belize. Now I'm literally thinking of that last question you said. And then I was like, oh yeah, I do remember what she felt bad about. I did think about it.
If that's a better answer, go to it.
Where is she going? Karen, to me, represents so many people in life and women and people I've met. She could go one of two ways. They're going to fight on the trip, no doubt. He might hit on the waitress, and then he might buy her a present, and then they might fall back into it. I don't know, she might yo-yo about, or she might have an epiphany. She's not going to have an epiphany. I wish she would. She could, maybe at 55.
a good answer. Who wants to start questions from the audience? And I think they're microphones, so wait for microphone.
They're going
Oh,
to
right
argue
here.
on the trip. They're going to have a great
Could you talk about surprises in your family members acting? When you read the script, you probably had an idea of how these family members what they would be like. How did then, when it all came about, what were some of the greatest surprises? And for Meryl Streep, what's your relationship to tropical birds?
Your relationship with tropical birds, was that the question? Yeah. Okay.
I get it. It
Julia
was my
gets
line.
it.
I get it. I totally get it.
Julia, maybe you can answer for Meryl.
Totally get it. And you know what? I haven't heard that question yet, and I've heard about 10,000 questions, so well done you. Meryl, what is your relationship with tropical birds?
I don't know. What? This is just always such an interesting process. This whole...
But to the sisters want to talk about your first part of your question.
The who? Yes.
Sisters?
What's the question?
Yeah. Julianne?
I was surprised by, I don't have specifics, but I was surprised by people every day. First of all, just seeing Violet for the first time chilled me to my core. I was so surprised. I had no idea. I mean, I guess I had a picture, but I couldn't describe what that was. But I was surprised by Violet when she just physically when she walked in the room. And that was the joy about being there every day. You never knew what was going to happen when. And it was a thrill every day to see what this amazing cast came up with and how honest and true and moving and great it was.
Chris, did you have something you wanted to add? No? Tropical birds?
Yeah.
Next question. Who's got the microphone? You've got the microphone. Go ahead.
Hello.
And tell me who it's directed to as well.
I get it.
Well, for those of you who have worked together before, what was it like coming together again in these profoundly different roles from the last project?
Me?
Well, whoever has worked together, so there's a whole
I can
group.
talk about Chris, because we worked together. I've worked with Margo before, and but never as in such a substantial way. And I just the thing about this piece is that, and I wish Ewan were here and Benedict, and because we were all absolutely integral to this thing working or not. And as parts are singled out, like Chris's character, I felt was someone that he